Information Agency press conference. We are grateful to have you all here as we continue our mission to facilitate effective communication between government agencies and the public. This edition of the PIA press conference will feature two different government agencies in separate segments, namely the Philippine Coconut Authority and the Department of Energy, to discuss their plans, programs, and activities, as well as issues and concerns before giving our media partners an opportunity to ask questions. At this point, may we call on PIA Director General, Undersecretary Jose A. Torres Jr., for his opening statement for the first segment of the PIA press conference with the Philippine Coconut Authority.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Kasama natin sa media, our officials from the Philippine Coconut Authority. Bisita natin, magandang umaga at welcome po dito sa Philippine Information Agency at dito sa ating weekly press conference. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagdating. Today, we gather once again to open a transparent dialogue between the government and our media partners. So we would like to stress the importance of you being here to be able to discuss issues and clarify issues with our government agencies. It is through this forum that we aim to bridge the gap between the government and the public, ensuring that the voices of our government officials are heard and that the flow of information to the public remains unimpeded. I would like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation to our media partners who are here today. Your consistent presence and active participation are integral to the success of this event and will ensure that accurate and relevant information reaches every Filipino. We are privileged to have with us today officials from the Philippine Coconut Authority, Deputy Administrator for Operations, and Chairman for the 2023 National Coconut Week, Sir Roel M. Rosales, and Deputy Administrator for Administrative and Finance, at wala si attorney. So, sa August 21 to September 1 po ay tinatawag nating National Coconut Week at sa taong ito, we'll have a theme na makabagong magniniog sa liga ng maunlad na kinabukasan, and it aims to give tribute to our country's coconut farmers. Today we will learn more of the government's initiatives and activities for this year's celebration directly from the PCA. Once again, thank you very much for your support. And let us continue to uphold the principles of transparency, accountability, and accuracy towards the bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.
Thank you, Director General Jose A. Torres Jr. Now, before we turn over the floor to the Philippine Coconut Authority, I will be giving a brief introduction to our guest. Mr. Roel M. Rosales serves as the Deputy Administrator of the Operations Branch of the PCA. Mr. Rosales has been in public service for 35 years. He was appointed as the Deputy Administrator in April 2009. As Deputy Administrator for Operations, he supervises and coordinates the conduct of various agricultural programs for better farm productivity, as Operations Branch is responsible for the preparation of agricultural development programs and the end project geared towards the small coconut farm development projects. He also supervises the maintenance of an effective monitoring and evaluation system and coordinates with other government and non-government agencies regarding financial and logistical program or project requirements. With his extensive experience and knowledge in the coconut industry, Mr. Rosales was recently elected as the chairman of the National Focal Point Working Group on Coconut on ASEAN Cooperation in Agriculture and Forest Products Promotion Scheme. May we now ask Deputy Administrator for his opening messages and his discussion.
Salamat po for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am here and quite thankful that you are all available to share with us uh, the start, the promotion for the National Coconut Week festivities for this year, 2023. I'm the chairman of the National Steering Committee for the said occasion. So we are promoting the event so that the public may be made aware, especially the young ones and those in the metropolitan area, that every August we pay tribute to the benefits of the coconut industry, what it has provided for the nation, for the economy, and even for the cultural side of the Filipino way of life. So, alam naman natin, there are a lot of things that can be had for coconut. And it is also an industry that contributes extensively to the national coffers. But somehow, a lot of reminders or a lot of promotion still needs to be made to really capture the essence of the coconut into the Filipino psyche. Kasi what perhaps is not in the Philippines is the patronage for coconut product, particularly the everyday Filipino. That's why this year, aside from the topics on the development, on research and market, we are also putting to fore or highlighting things that affects us in our daily life. So we are focusing on what is really close to our heart and now close to our stomach, which is food, culinary food, comfort food, heritage food that are derived from coconut. So we will start our Coconut Week celebration actually on August 22. That is really ahead of the celebrations as provided for in the proclamation declaring the National Coconut Week Festival. So there is proclamation number 142. This was made by then President Corazon Aquino, declaring the period from August 24 to 30 in 1987, and every year thereafter is the National Coconut Week. So every year we go to the extent of having a Coconut Week festivity. In some cases, it's a month-long celebration, and just to highlight to the Filipinos the importance of this industry. So this year, we're going to have it in our office at the headquarters here in Quezon City. So the program of activities, as I mentioned, would be jumpstart with a colorful festive occasion, and that is the Coconut Food Fest. So during the launching, we will highlight the many food preparations, particularly those pang merienda, parang pang counterpart pa sa English tea. Ang English kasi they go through a lot of ceremony, importance on the tea time amongst them. Tayo rin sa Pilipino, we value it very much, yung merienda time. We look forward to it morning and afternoon. So I find it as a very good avenue to highlight that maybe it's also time that we appreciate what is often served as Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. What you would perhaps think as ordinary native fare o kakanin na may budbud ng coconut or with some mix ng coconut, maybe something that is not well appreciated because it is just there. But really, there are a lot of things that can be made and improved and extended some more for people to be able to appreciate that. So, as a come-on, we're going to have this simple Coco Food Festival. We would be coming in, magdadala po kami ng mga iba't ibang food preparation, lalo-lalo na yung mga comfort food, merienda, some of them heritage food coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So probably food that you are not aware of are that have coconut as its ingredient, you may be surprised that a lot of it is from coconut. And ayun nga, food preparation from the Visayas and Mindanao, maybe this is about time to discover our heritage dito sa Pilipinas. And also for the young set, to probably gear them away from the traditional fast food and then look closely into what is close to our heart, the Filipino food, coconut, and be able to appreciate it and probably on a regular occasion, gamitin natin. So that would be how we would jumpstart the whole event. So we will invite it with a colorful festive mood during the happy occasion. That would be the inaugural or the launching on August 22. So we would also have some guests. We will be having Miss the Honorable Cynthia Villar as our guest of honor, and then some titans of the industry, leaders of the industry, so that they can share also their experiences in the other activities, which would be a series of talks in a webinar series to highlight market development as well as recent innovation on research. So to continue on with the celebration, we are also partnering with the United Coconut Association of the Philippines through a conduct of a World Coconut Congress, and that would be at the World Trade Center. So this would be having a more international flavor. We are going to have some experts from the US to talk about the medical benefits of coconut, and there would be other discussion. Amongst them would be the implementation of the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Program, which is already in its second year. This is a milestone legislation on social and economic benefit for the coconut farmers, from which pockets the coconut levy was collected during the first Marcos administration. And now, with the current administration of Ferdinand Marcos Jr., we will now extend the benefit to the coconut farmers in the next 50 years or so. And there are a lot of benefits that the farmer should be made aware of, and we wish that our friends from the media will be able to really relay this to the general public, that there is a lot for our coconut farmers for them to benefit from, like productivity intervention. We do have scholarship program with the CHED, which will actually take off this August, and all other interventions that we hope would comprehensively be availed of by the coconut farmers to really improve their land. Right now, considering of course that the market situation is still volatile, considering the international scenario, there's a lot of things that are going on. Prices of crude are going up. COVID-19 is exactly not yet out of the picture. So medyo there are a lot of uncertainties in the market. So the forum would also be an avenue for the public to know what's going on and what the administration, including the coconut industry, will track to be able to surmount some of these challenges. So again, I am very happy that you are here, and quite grateful that you find time to be with us this morning for you to relate to the general public that we are to conduct the National Coconut Week festivities with the aim, of course, of continuously promoting coconut in the consciousness of Filipinos, in the heart, as food of the everyday Filipino, and also for us to be appreciative of this industry by promoting domestic utilization. More so than ever before, this is really the time to go local, patronize our own. Again, because we really need to support our coconut farmers. especially in the time of food insecurity. There is a lot that the coconut industry can offer. Coconut, just to be very personal about it, is something that we find in our household on a daily basis. Food, non-food application, shampoo, so it's there. It's just about there, and that's why it is not given as much emphasis. So it's time. This is the time right now to really be the agents for change. Let's promote domestic utilization for coconut, and then we also help our coconut farmers in their livelihood endeavors by way of doing that, promoting greater domestic utilization. So we want the Coconut Week festivity to be the avenue for that, and we want that this event be promoted accordingly. So on that note, again, I thank everyone, and at this point, I think we can take in some questions as regard the event and perhaps other matters that concerns the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator Rosales. We now open the floor for questions from our media partners. You may use the microphones in front of you. Kindly state your name and the organization you represent. We would like to address the question to you. We also remind media partners to limit their questions in the interest of time and for everybody to be given a chance to ask.
Good morning po, Dubatales from PEZ. Yung sa ano po, yung Coconut Week celebration niyo po, saan po yung gaganapin?
Thank you. We will have the opening ceremonies here at the Philippine Coconut Authority building. I think it's just across the block. There's a corner going to Commonwealth. So that's where we're going to have it. We will start at about 9. So there will be may coconut bazaar, may tiangge of coconut farmers produce, and then there will be booths that will offer food tasting for the different food preparation and the confectionaries and even flavors. Yung mga food additives ngayon, marami nang lumalabas sa market, yung toyo, yung kapalit ng toyo, of course suka. These are also gaining popularity right now because these are naturally prepared, good for wellness. I-showcase din po natin. So, you would be able to sample food preparations from not just Luzon, the usual, perhaps those are the most familiar with, but this time around, you will get to taste actually food preparation from the Visayas and the Mindanao area. And then, of course, we are going to have some photo exhibits there, some exhibition of coconut products. And later on, after the opening ceremonies, we will be having webinar topics as to market development. So the private sector will take center stage. They will be relating their experiences on how they run their business, how they are able to help the farmers, as well as how they're able to help the communities where the processing facilities are. So the week thereafter, we're going to have a webinar series on research and development. And then on the 30th, we will have the World Coconut Congress at the World Trade Center. That would imbibe a more international flavor. So there will be more discussions, topics that are geared towards the international development on health and wellness, medical development. I think they have invited an expert from Florida who can talk about the application of coconut on Alzheimer. And there will be other invited guests from Indonesia and other, experts from all over the world. So that would be the extent of the Coconut Week Festival. Then August 31 and 30, we would have our regional Coconut Day celebration at the different regional office of PCA. So that is the extent of the celebration all over the Philippines.
morning. Sir,
Yeah.
you mentioned that the event aims to promote the local products. So I just like to ask po, currently ba po sa market natin, mas marami na ba po imported coconut products over local ones? Maybe you have a ratio, kunwari 50, 60 to 40. Kamusta po ang market po ngayon?
Coconut is traditionally export. So we export primarily coconut oil. So 80% of our produce is for coconut oil, and 80% also of something to that figure is geared for the export market. So on that account, a lot of it seems like an irony because we promote coconut also for export, and that is the traditional source of dollars for the agricultural sector for the longest time. So also desiccated coconut yung panghalo sa mga confectionaries. But there are new products, and sabi ko including food, that may be promoted domestically, like yung coconut water, coconut milk, and then of course the regular food preparation that can actually be prepared at the village level or at the household level. And somehow we've seen that these are losing patronage from among the population. Parang hindi na tayo masyadong familiar, or we don't actually use our own mga produkto during the most frequent time natin dito sa mga bahay-bahay natin. That's why I'm trying to touch the very heart of the household. We Filipinos look forward to merienda in the same way as the English look forward to their tea time. So itong merienda, parang sa mga household, we always pa-order tayo ng, or we go to the restaurant, pa-order tayo ng mga fast food. Nothing wrong with that, but somehow we are losing out on this product line. So we want to bring back the appreciation for coconut products that used to be so popular among Filipinos. When we were kids, we look forward sa maglalako ng mga bibingka, ng mga kutsinta, and even lahat yan may coconut. Even yung binatog, kailangan lagyan mo ng coconut. I am older enough to know that we are losing this product line to the population. So maybe this is a conscious effort to bring that back, that there will be more appreciation. So on a more serious note, yes, coconut is geared for export, but there are new products that can be utilized for domestic utilization. For example, ang coconut milk nga, mas malaki pa ang industriya ng coconut milk ng Malaysia over us. So maybe there should be some recalibration among preferences among Filipinos to utilize Filipino products. So even cocoa water, yung cocoa water natin is already gaining popularity, yung buko. Pero there's another cocoa water that may not be consciously being utilized by Filipinos. Ito yung nakapackage na coconut water. Actually, ang main raw material producer of this would be the Philippines. So dito kinukuha sa ating raw material, pinapackage lang nila abroad. So it's very popular in the US and elsewhere kasi for health and wellness, kasi parang Gatorade yan source ng energy. So maybe if the population can really have a very good appreciation of that, yes, this is something that should benefit the different industries, because these products can also be produced by our coconut farmers. And then to extend on to the usual fare that we have left, for example, laing, we don't find laing a lot anymore. We can teach the trade, we can teach the recipe, para lang, it continuously become a source of viand natin sa everyday life natin. Yung mga tinola, hindi wala ang tinola, yung ginataan, yung mga bilo-bilo. I don't find that too often enough. I mean, this sounds so trite, but this is a real concern for us. We are losing out with our heritage food, with our regional cuisine and fare. We should bring it back to the household, bring it back to the table. We will start with that because also there are more serious topics, bigger topics of course, that concerns the industry.
Sir, follow-up. Speaking of bigger topics, sir, tanong ko lang po yung sa exports. Based on this Philippine Statistics Authority report, medyo bumaba po yung ating exports, at least for the first 4 months of the year. What could have led to the decline in exports? Medyo higit 50% po ang binaba.
Yes, in 2022 actually was a good year for coconut. We earned about 3 billion, but after that a steady decline. Of course, soft pa rin ang demand elsewhere. China is still not quite there yet. And then sa US, although the economy is peaking, but there are a lot of problems there also. A lot of major calamities are happening. And then I think what affected us was the stock that was inipon ng Indonesia during the pandemic, and now they are releasing their palm oil, the major competitor for coconut oil. So they have the volume a lot more than coconut. So nilabas na nila ito sa market. That's why the market is quite depressed. In terms of prices, mababa ang presyo, mababa din ang utilization. And then of course, sabi ko nga, I would reckon that the global economy has not really normalized just yet. There are still a lot of logistical challenges. The Ukraine-Russian war continue to pervade ang kanyang effects, and it is really a good mix of many circumstances. Tataas pa ang presyo ng oil, and so with Russia and Saudi Arabia, i-limit ang ano. So I think there's a lot of things that are not really favoring the market just now. But well, on an optimistic note, we think that comes the bear months, which is next month, people will go out again on their way to spend, to celebrate, to cook some more, and with that we anticipate that prices will somehow go up. Right now prices are going up, inching up slowly, not too much, but from last week to this week, prices have already increased by a little over a peso. So we hope that will continue on for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Sir, is it right that PCA is aiming to plant 100 billion coconut trees? Can you give us some details about that?
Yes. The PCA intend to go all out on the planting program, massive coconut planting, more than ever before. Because we used to have a very limited planting target, but this time around, 2 days ago, the program was launched with the administrator and the farming sector to work together to be able to plant and replant in a big way. And we are to do that in the immediate, because that is also the directive of the President, because we are losing out. That is also the case for the Philippine coconut industry. It used to be that we are the dominant country for coconut, but no more in terms of production. Indonesia has overcome Philippines several years ago, and India is now second, so that makes us third, as the third biggest producer in the world. And thus, that somehow threatens the position of the Philippines in the international market. We're still tops in terms of export for coconut oil, but Indonesia is fast catching up. So we need to plant more, and actually, more than planting also, we need to fertilize our coconut so that productivity on a per hectare basis can be increased in a quick turnaround way with planting first. So yes, the administrator has just launched the massive coconut planting program with 100 million target, and we are going to take advantage of the provision of the Sagip-Saka law. In this case, you are allowed, government agencies are allowed to work closely, directly with farmers' organizations that are accredited to be able to provide the inputs for the productivity program. But there are very stringent rules also that covers us. It's not something that you freely work with farmers. They need to be accredited, and there are some other provisions of a relaxed system of procurement that will also apply. Kasi ang ating procurement is under the procurement law, RA 9184. So usually ang mga kausap natin dyan ay yung mga firms and establishment. This time around, there's a law that allows direct engagement with farmers and procurement of inputs.
May I ask, sir, like, where in the Philippines, in which regions are you eyeing to plant this massive amount of coconut trees?
Mindanao is certainly where we need to plant some more, because there are a lot of areas there that can be utilized for coconut planting. We are also working with our friends from the Indigenous Peoples Group, because they also have a lot of open areas. We only work on open areas. We are very particular that we do not cut forest trees to give way to coconut trees, nor do we allow that young coconuts are cut in favor of a certain variety. We do not allow that. We also must remember that there are also stringent regulation that the European Union is imposing on product entry in the European market and even in the American market. So they're particular about deforestation, they're very particular about fair trade and sustainable agriculture. So we are very keen on following that so as to be able to protect our market in the major destinations. So Mindanao would be tops. The island groupings would also be planted with coconut, and then we are looking in specific areas in the north. Maraming areas sa north, and there's a lot of interest among farmers and the local government unit to populate the northern territories, the northern provinces with more coconut. So the scale of the coconut planting is somehow calibrated in favor of also priority areas.
Sir, Jim Pineda, MC13. Ano ka lang, sir? Sabi niyo po kanina, soft pa rin yung demand ng coconut ngayon.
Yes, as the export indicator showed.
Sir, sa last month, sinabi niyo rin may 500,000 farmers na affected dun sa pagbaba ng copra price. Sa tingin niyo, sir, kamusta na kaya sila ngayon? Pwede mo update.
Ang copra price, as we know, is a roller coaster trend for the coconut farmers. That's why we are promoting other activities within the coconut farm. So first, price is starting to climb, so that's a relief. But that does not diminish that there are difficulties at the farm level. That's why the promotion of more agricultural venture diversification among coconut farmers. I-highlight ko rin yung aming coconut farmers in industry development, coconut farmers in industry development program. That law came in just in time to really provide some relief to the coconut farming sector. Maybe not providing ayuda because the other agencies are providing ayuda for that, but really trying to expand the horizon of coconut farming. So We provide some intercropping for those farmers who are willing to engage in hybrid coconut planting. Ito yung mas madaling mamunga. We provide support hanggang fertilizer so that these are assured of a robust growth comes harvest time. And then we are also providing hybrid planting materials that are mas madali siyang mamunga. Compared to the usual variety which takes about 5 to 7 years bago mamunga, itong mga hybrid, mamumulaklak na ito ng mga 2.5 years to 3 years. And then, mag-harvest ka na in a few months. Pag ito namunga, katulad din ng dwarf variety namin, kung talagang maganda yung growth niya, halos abot sa lupa yung bunga niya. It's a nice, good sight to see. And we'd like to promote more planting of this kind. Then, of course, we are also rehabilitating coffee and cacao plantation under coconut because it is also a good source of incomes for coconut farmer. And then for cooperatives that are mature enough to venture into higher level of activities like processing, there's also an assistance for them in terms of credit, in terms of market know-how, and then providing also for facility for processing. This is open for cooperatives na pwede na silang more than cultivation of the land, pwede na silang mag-process ng mga coconut raw materials into other things. So these are the intervention that we are providing farmers. Maybe the effect may not be immediate, but we are really gearing up for a sustainable future for the coconut industry.
Sir, other question. Nasa ko sir na nagsisiking kayo ng 11 billion additional sa ngayon sa
For
budget
next year.
For next year. Sir, meron po ba kayong mga bagong mga programa for that kaya kayo gusto nyo magdala ng 11 billion?
Actually, it's really an expansion of the necessary programs for the industry, a catch-up program for the industry. Sabi ko nga, we're losing out to the other countries. So, part of the 11 billion funding is really to promote the massive planting of coconut trees all over the Philippines. It is more than just planting. It's a diversified planting to also look into the ecosystem. May mga coconut na hindi adapted sa certain area. Ang hybrid at saka yung dwarf, hindi yan pwede sa mahangin. Mababa ang kanilang root system, matatapol agad yan. So, there are very critical areas na doon ka lang pwede magtanim ng hybrid. So, to diversify the planting area, we plant the talls by the coastline, by the Pacific side, and by the foot of the mountains where coconut can also grow. Kasi coconut can tolerate a wide range of environment. So, pwede naman siyang itanim hanggang 600 meter above sea level. Pwede mo rin siyang itanim sa sandy area. In fact, if you notice, ang coconut ay mas magandang tubo by the coastline sa mga area ng beaches. Although you cannot really plant that much there anymore because the coastline land value has really gone up. But we can tolerate a lot of marginal lands also for coconut as long as there's water. And the other intervention, of course, for the 11 billion is to go into a massive fertilization program. But this is a different fertilization program because we use salt, yung asin, para sa fertilization ng coconut. Peculiar kasi ang asin, among others, sa coconut. And yun, asin, nakakamatay yun sa ibang crop. Pero for coconut, actually, nakakatulong yun sa robust growth and productivity ng coconut. If you apply kahit 2 grams lang ng salt sa puno, mag-increase na agad ang kanyang harvest the next cropping season. So, we also would like to be a part of the rehabilitation of the local salt industry. That's why we are tying this up with the development of the local salt industry. We are among the biggest client for the salt produced of our salt producer in the Philippines. So yesterday, Undersecretary Panganiban was saying, they have provided a certain funding for an amount, I think 100 million, just to jumpstart the salt industry of the Philippines. So we hope that we'll really produce a lot of salt because we need to have this locally produced salt for our coconut farmers. Dati kasi imported ang salt na ginagamit natin because simply walang salt available. It's used para sa wet market. It used to be imported pa from Australia. But right now, a policy shift, I noticed that the president is saying, you patronize the local salt, and PCA is one of its bigger clients. So that's part of the 11 billion funding. And then I think more efforts towards research and development and some regulatory aspect also needs to be tweaked para talagang we are able to really focus the development effort, including the policy framework for the coconut industry. A lot of things still needs to be done, but I think with the new direction, we're really clearing out the path towards better initiatives to really address the concern of the coconut farmers and the industry people also. Yes, ma'am.
And then Santos po from Net25, good morning, sir. Sir, kumusta na po yung modernization ng coconut industry na ikinagutos po before ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. para maiangat po yung buhay at kabuhayan ng ating mga coconut farmer?
Yes, ma'am. We are taking off from the passage of Republic Act 11524, the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. That plan was in congruence with the essence of the law to help the farmers, as well as those efforts in helping the farmer would be the vehicle for the modernization of the coconut industry. So it is a comprehensive program that subscribe to, of course, coming up with better planting materials, coming up with research and development towards improving farm productivity, promoting diversification in the farm by way of raising animals, raising dairy, raising coffee and cacao under coconut, and also promoting processing within the coconut farming sector. So all this development that will redound to the benefit of the coconut farmers will also be something that the private sector will benefit from. So with more raw materials to process, that will gear up to more incomes for the industry, hoping that the farmer will also benefit. So those are the action plan for the development and the modernization of the coconut industry. Of course, the private sector has also come up with their own initiatives to complement the efforts that the government is doing. Like, for example, we have a new facility in Lipa City by the Lau family. So this is a modern coconut facility for processing, I think, of value-added produce yung chemicals from coconut. And then, for example, we have another plant in General Santos, which produce yung cocoa water also for export, and the coconut farmers are benefiting from it. So again, at this time around, we are forging a closer relationship between and among coconut farmers, the government, and the private sector.
Sir, kabilang po ba dun sa mga nabanggit ninyo, ay yung mga natanong nila sa inyo yung massive planting of coconut dun sa modernization?
Yes, ma'am.
What about po dun sa technologies na dapat kung saan tayo dapat mag-invest, or ano yung mga mapupulong technologies na dapat po natin gamitin to help na mas lalo pa pong mag-develop ang modernize yung coconut industry sa bansa?
Yes, that's also part of our engagement with the farming sector as well as the processing sector, yung ating private sector. the private sector is very keen on helping out the coconut farmers. We are working closely with some of the bigger conglomerates who intends to go into coconut. I think Manny Pangilinan is already into coconuts. I hope that the appointees will join very soon. The Po family is also into coconuts. These are big, these are those who can really provide the necessary investment. So a lot of interest is now being generated. Itong ang Lau family is also into biofuels as well as industrial application for coconut. So we are really gearing up for value-added products that bodes well for the industrial application of coconut raw material. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, mas malaki ang pwedeng kitain for the industry, and we hope that everything else will translate to the benefit of our coconut farmer as raw material producer and as partner also for development. Tapos, on our part din naman, sinasabi namin din sa private sector that probably they should also give back to the coconut farmers by way of using their corporate social responsibility to provide also some assistance to the coconut farmers. And I also would like to emphasize that very soon we will have this scholarship program under the CE, Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Program. Ito yung talagang hinahangad-hangad ng mga coconut farming families, makapagpaaral ng isang anak o kaya yung farmer himself to go to college. So we are offering that opportunity in the near horizon na popondohan yung, kasi ano lang sa government college, state and university mag-aaral, but we are providing under the scholarship program an ample amount for their allowance, may laptop, may support to PCs, may uniform allowance and everything. So it's a good enough support to sustain the child to finish college para hindi na siya mamamblema ng gagastusin niya sa araw-araw. And the courses that may be availed of ranges from agricultural to other courses that can be helpful sa coconut industry development. So pwede pa rin dyan yung information technology, yung business courses, and the like. So hindi naman exclusive lang sa agricultural courses.
Maganda po yun, yung nabanggit ninyo, sana nga makatulong sa mga farmers natin yung pribadong sektor at hindi lang sila yung makikinabang
Yes.
mula sa industry.
Naniningil kami sa private sector
Ayun.
actually, that
Senator,
will do their share.
nabanggit niyo po yung biofuel from the Lau family. Aside from biofuel, ano pa po ba yung mga additional products na pwede natin magawa out from the coconut
Ang kailangan mabuhay talaga rin, kasi may batas dun yung use ng surfactant, yung sa mga sabon na ingredient, yung coconut, may batas actually dyan na dapat ginagamit yan. So kung gagamitin lang yan, mag-i-increase talaga yung domestic utilization natin. Pangalawa, yung sa biofuels, matagal na natin hinihintay yung ma-upgrade yung blend from 2% to at least 5%. Again, yan yung magbabuffer ng pag bumababa yung presyo ng copra. Kung talagang mapapayagan lang yung increase ng blend ng crudo, ng coconut oil sa diesel natin, makakatulong pa yan sa environment. And then we have new technologies that we hope will also take off, katulad nung bandage na gawa sa nata de coco. Natural yan, malamig at hindi siya biodegradable siya, hindi siya danger sa environment. May bagong technology. Meron din technology sa mga coco board. So yung mga nasisirang puno na nabubulok na, pwede mo yung i-process na magagandang material para sa housing. Yung pang-interior nga lang kasi medyo hindi pwede yung coconut sa labas kasi hindi naman siya talaga wood in the exact definition. Kasi palm siya, hindi siya wood. So, pang-interior, maganda ang coconut panel, board, na pwede natin gamitin para sa local housing industry. So there are many products that can still be derived from coconut, not just the product that you know. So that's why again the message for this Coconut Week Festival, let's patronize local, let's patronize coconut, let's use our coconuts.
Sir,
Okay?
last question na lang po, kung may magtatanong
Yeah.
Regarding po sa mga cooking oil, kasi ang dami-dami na po mga imported sa mga groceries, yung ating local mukhang
Yes.
kumusta na po, nakakasabay ba or mas mabenta po yung mga imported na ito? Kasi pag nag-grocery ako halos
Wala ka nang makikita
Oho.
coconut oil except Minola and Baguio oil. Yes, medyo preferred cooking oil kasi yung coconut, kaya medyo pricey siya sa market. And then we are competing heavily with palm oil, which is really very cheap. And the market right now is flooded with palm oil. Actually, there's a concern there about the importation of palm oil. So we are really trying to address that concern kasi actually hindi medyo nag-soften na naman ngayon. There was a time na talagang na-flood tayo ng palm oil that was pre-pandemic, and it continued on for some time because there is some technicality there on how the importation was made. So that's why again we are trying to promote domestic utilization and even the promotion ng island economy na yung mga island provinces natin, mag-produce kayo ng sarili nyong cooking oil for domestic utilization. Capiz has already started that. Marinduque is about to start that to produce their own local oil para hindi na sila nag-i-import ng oil from the mainland. So maybe that is the best thing that we can do right now. Kasi again, it's a factor of market. Of course, price, packaging, those things somehow are the consideration of the consumer whenever they patronize yung consumers group.
Wala po ba tayong naisip na technology para matulungan yung ating mga coconut farmers na mas makapag-produce ng mas magandang quality ng cooking oil at yung mapapababa pa yung presyo?
Marami po tayong, actually more than the technology, and there is a technology in production po ng white copra para pag nag-extract ka ng cooking oil, mas malinis yung ating oil, mas maging klase, mas healthy. So we have in the pipeline several projects for the provinces para sa production ng white copra for cooking oil purposes. So these are already approved. These are SPIR funding commitment under the plan which I just mentioned, and we hope to see things changing by next year once this facility are running for the local communities para lesser na yung dependent natin sa mga imported oil or those in the, well, partly in the supermarket para yung oil na pinuproduce nila, i-patronize nila para may mga benefits pa sila in being able to patronize that. That's why we're trying to build up communities into cooperatives para yung patronage system ba can be well enhanced.
Last na lang po talaga. Magkano po ba dapat ang presyo ng cooking oil? Kasi ang mamahal na rin po ng cooking oil ay kung ang sugar, bigas, matataas. Even yung cooking oil po, at taas ng presyo eh.
Yes, kaya sinasabi nga nila yung cooking oil, kahit ang baba ng presyo, hindi bumababa yung presyo ng cooking oil. Right now, ang copra nasa mga 30 pesos. So, considering that there was a time ang taas ng presyo ng ng copra at bumaba ng presyo ng copra, ngayon palang umakyat, hindi naman nagbabago ang presyo ng cooking oil. I think the configuration there is also affected ang mga manufacturing sector natin ng presyo ng mga packaging material. That has not also gone down. So it contributes to the price. And then of course, there are logistical problems of distribution that also contributes to the price. And then market promotion is also something that they input into the cost that also affects the price. So the price of copra somehow parang hindi siya proportionately related to the price of the cooking oil because of those other considerations.
So how much is the ideal price of the cooking oil dapat po?
Per liter.
Ngayon,
Hindi ko
yung per
talag-
liter, 1 liter, kahit 1 liter lang, nasa 100 plus.
I really wouldn't be able to say that because yung
DTI.
production production cost ng private sector, I really do not know the specific details of what they spend for. Even promotions, of course, they spend for that. That is inputted into the cost. So I cannot speculate really.
Thank you po.
Sir, sorry, quickly lang. Baka na-miss ko kanina. You said na Indonesia and India has
Overtaken us in terms of production.
In terms of production, but not of exports?
But not export. The good thing about that situation, although it also will pose some challenge later on, is like, for example, Indonesia. It's producing more coconut. It's producing more oil actually. But the good thing there is a lot of that goes to the domestic market. Kasi part ng cuisine talaga nila, and that's the difference with us. Also, that's why I also wanted to follow the Indonesian track. In Indonesia, ang mga tao, ang mga farmers especially, everyday may bit-bit silang nyog at gagamitin nila sa pagluluto sa gabi. Alam mo naman ang mga Indonesian, curry is a favorite dish. And curry is coconut, yung anghang na fruit preparation. And just about anything in Indonesia ay may coconut sa kanilang food preparation. So right now, there's really greater domestic utilization. If only that can happen in the country, even a proportion of that, that would really be very, very good for the coconut industry. So right now, though they have overtaken us in terms of production, a lot of the consumption goes to the domestic market. And also part of the consumption sa domestic is religious. Alam niyo sa Bali, for example, there's a lot of shrines there. And then may mga preparations sila about the use of coconut oil. That also goes in India. Sa India nga, kinakain nila yung copra for domestic utilization. Tayo dito, we don't do that.
So you mean, sir, that even if they have overtaken us, we're still the top export?
We're still the top export. But on a precarious standing, because sooner or not, they're also paving a lot of land for coconut development, lalo pa sa Sumatra. Kasi Sumatra is open for planting. So, if the time that it starts bearing fruit, with the domestic consumption in place, they will now gear up for the export market. That's why we are trying to catch up in a big way.
Sir, do you have like ballpark figures of how much coconut they are producing in contrast to how much we are producing?
I don't know if I have the figures with me right now. I don't have it right now with me, the exact figures, but yeah, we can provide that through the PIA. Or if you can be given your email addresses, we can. Okay, I think Mr. Marsigan is waiting. Yes, ma'am.
Just a question. Nabanggit niyo po kanina yung research and development. Marami kasi sa coconut, maraming byproducts. Pero isang problema is yung pag-approve ng FDA dun sa mga byproducts na to. So, meron po bang ugnayan ng PCA sa FDA and of course DTI, nabanggit niyo din yung mga packaging which na talaga napaka-costly. So, paano po matutulungan, meron bang ugnayan na para matulungan yung maliliit na nasa mga kitchen lab ngayon, mga small enterprises, na I think nauna pa sila dun sa malalaking negosyante, like the VCO na nakatulong sa COVID and yet parang kulang sa pansin. There is this one brand na siya yung nag-iisa sa atin na naka-encapsulate, naka-soft gel pala, na virgin coconut oil. And kahit dito sa local, nahihirapan siya kasi ang competitors na nagagaling sa ibang bansa.
Yes.
So how do you intend to help them?
We are closely working with FDA and of course the farming sector. So we assist the farming sector in terms of food safety law compliance saka yung good manufacturing compliance natin. Kasi bago ka makapaglabas ng produkto, ang FDA hahanapin nila yan na properly set up yung planta. So, tumutulong kami dyan. And in some way, nagpi-finance din kami, although very limited, for the farming sector to build facility that are in compliance. Yun nga lang, very limited. But in terms of extension work, that is part of our extension work, to help the small players be able to comply with the regulatory necessities so that they are able to come out in the market, be compliant, and then DTI will come in to also help them in terms of market development. And some of them are actually going into export already. But that is something I will admit that we need to work harder on to really assist the yung mga medium and small enterprise. We need to do a lot more because sometimes they also complain that not a lot of things are being given their way. But again, that is now being addressed and is a main focus also. And then we are also informing them of new mga regulation sa US market, sa halal market, and particularly sa European Union. Ang European Union napakaraming stringent measure. So all these things we are really sharing with the SMEs and the small coconut farming group.
Nabanggit ko lang po yung financial help po. Gaano po siya dapat kaliit? I mean, ano po yung kailangan para maka-seek sila ng financial help from your?
Yes. We work with cooperatives or organizations. We do not work with individuals. So they need to be an organized group, a cooperative preferably, engaged in coconut farming, and to some degree, may experience na syempre sa processing so that they have leaning and experience to be able to use the proceeds of what we will provide them. We don't provide money. What we provide for are the facilities like building and in some instance the equipment. It can be costly. It can go as high as 17 million, 20 million. So we have several of these already and we hope with the implementation of CFIDP, we will have more. Right now, there are those nasa pipeline, approved na ito, ready for construction, and the price range I think is about 15 to 20 million. Again, the basic rule is that they should be cooperatives into coconut, and then they are also registered with Coconut Farmers Registry. That's very important. That's the most basic. To identify them as the farmer beneficiary under the law, meaning they should own 5 hectares and below, or they can be coconut farmer workers or tenants. So those are the things that we are looking for. And then of course a feasibility study.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator. In the interest of time, we will only be able to entertain one last question since we have a second segment of our press conference.
Sir, good morning po. Bernard Minyosa po. At good morning din, Sir DJ. Sir, yung problema kasi sa inyo, kay mula nung malit pa ako, ganun pa rin problema hanggang ngayon eh. Kasi sa realidad, sa mga provinces, sa mga farmers, tinitipid or binabarat sila ng mga inject na kanilang middleman. Meron bang programa o plano ang PCA na magtayo man lang ng mga buying stations na ang PCA na mismong bibili sa tamang halaga?
Under the law, hindi kami pwedeng katulad ng dating NFA na namimili ng copra from the farmers. And so we are not allowed under the rules to do that. What we are trying to set up with the private sector is that they work together as partners. So just so as to avoid the interlayer ng middlemen, and as long as they're going to produce the good quality copra, yung dekalidad, we are promoting direct copra marketing. Yung mga organization, mag-produce ng copra, naka-engage sila sa private sector, hindi na sila dadaan sa maraming network para lang makapagbenta. So, bibigyan sila ng express lane at makabayaran agad sila ng kanilang copra. So, that means they can enjoy a premium. But again, that's easier said than done. Kasi nga, ang problema ng mga farmer natin na talagang gusto natin mabago sa mahabang panahon ay nakatali na talaga sila doon sa cycle ng ang dependence nila sa middleman. Kasi ang nangyayari, hindi pa bunga yung nyog na hiram na nila yung pera sa middleman. So pagdating ng entrega ng bayad, halos ibabayad lang nila. Tapos tuloy-tuloy na yung cycle kasi hindi na sila makawala doon. That's why gusto natin silang i-veer out from that by trying to help them that more than copra, ito na yung inyong pwedeng engagement para may dagdag kita kayo. And then, soon enough, get out of the rut dun sa kanilang pagkakatali sa utang and then use the formal lending system. Although again, that is easier than that kasi marami nagre-reklamo, mahirap mag-utang sa land bank. So, we're also trying to change the configuration of things na simple na lang yung mga requirement. So, yes, that is the situation and we're trying to change that. I know it will take some doing, but I think there should be some political will to be able to do that. To get them out of the vicious cycle na utang, bayad. Para ring empleyado.
Last sir, meron kasi kaming farm din ng lahat, goma, at saka yan, coconut. Sir, meron bang rubber and coconut and fruits? Sir, meron bang kasi ang niyog, nasisira po yan pag hindi mo inalagaan ng mga abuno. Meron bang program ang PCA na mamahagi ng free doon sa mga magsasaka?
Ang niyog po ay hindi namin binibenta. Libre po siya.
Abono?
Oo. Abono, libre din po. Pag may although limited. Halos lahat libre kami po. Yun nga lang, dahil limited ang funding, of course, yung nararating niya ay hindi lahat. Pero libre ang pananim including itong hybrid planting materials. Even yung although bihira ito, yung pinupromote na namin, yung aromatic, ito yung maliliit lang ang bunga pero napakatamis nung sabaw. So, pinupromote namin yan para sa mga resort area, kaya dun sa mga area na kung saan yung mga turista, kasi masarap talaga yung sabaw, napakatamis. So, gusto namin maparami yan.
We will help that, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
kindly promote those activities. So, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator Roel Rosales. At this point, we conclude our open forum with the PCA. May we now ask for brief closing statements from PCA Deputy Administrator Roel Rosales and PIA Director General Jose A. Torres Jr.
Yes, thank you very much for the interest in the coconut industry. We really hope that beyond even what we are promoting right now, the Coconut Week Festival, and do promote the Coconut Week festivities of the PCA, is that you also become our channel for really promoting the coconut industry with all its attributes, and then raise with the PCA problems that afflicts the industry, and there are also many, so that we are put in a proper perspective on how to properly assess the coconut industry. It is a big industry. There are many opportunities, there are many good things that are happening there, but we also know that there are problems. So we hope that the media will be able to really provide the avenue for really bringing to fore these concerns to the government so that the government can amply provide response and answers to this consideration. So again, thank you very much, and really I appreciate the effort of you coming in at such an early time of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Administrator. Please stand by for the second part of our press conference with the Department of Energy. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Sir, photo op. Mag-shake hands kayong dalawa, sir. Shake hands, shake hands. Post muna, sir.